public servants. I want to go there to serve you. I don't want to go there to get rich off of you.
If they can count it for me,
let's put it on the same healthcare plan that they're trying to put up on. a month on $50,000. Because the Federal Reserve had an easy money policy, and I'm on the bank board of directors. And I was in the meeting Thursday, and I asked, what do we pay to borrow money at from the Fed? 0.04%. Basically, free. I jokingly raised my hand, so they're going to pay us to borrow money. So the interest rates are low, so my 83-year-old mother, they usually pass her lifestyle so that the bank can make more money on their interest margin. That's just plain wrong. Sanctity of life is the fifth thing I believe in. I'm an unabashed pro-life from conception to cradle to the grave. Or abortions in this country, or as part of any foreign aid package. And I also oppose any federal funding for Planned Parenthood. Dr. Schindler, you see the movie Schindler's List, he said, it's a great quote, he said, he who saves a life, one life, saves the world entirely. And I think as Christians, pro-life Christians, we are called to save that one life. In closing, my favorite definition of insanity is one by Einstein, who says if you do the same thing tomorrow that you do today, don't expect different results. If we truly want to change Washington, we have to stop sending the same kind of candidates that are there already. We need candidates who do not covet a career in politics. We need candidates who will spend your money like it's their own money. We need candidates who will actually read and apply the Constitution to the bills going through Congress. When I think about the upcoming, the end of the primary, the upcoming campaign against Braley, here's my insight on it. Either I or my opponent is going to raise as much money as Bruce Braley, as an incumbent congressman. Either I or my opponent is going to have a more professional staff and organization than Bruce Braley. And either I or my